Hey, good morning. This is August the 11th, Sunday. This is Mike Jones recording from Dallas, Texas. This message is for my family up in Kansas City. Um, me being a perfectionist, this is take 3 because I did not like the first 2 takes. The first 2 takes were 15 minutes long, which were a little bit too long, and because of the sun, I had my eyes scrunched and things of that nature. Long story short, I didn't like it. I'm going to try to shorten this down to a 10-minute video as opposed to a 15-minute video. My original goal was a 5-minute video, but it doesn't look like after 2 takes I'm going to get it down to 5 minutes. So if I talk a little fast, please forgive me, but I'm going to try to run through 3 different subjects as quickly as possible. First, the mom update. Basically, mom down here in Dallas, she came home from rehab yesterday. Me and Billy got her from the rehab and brought her home. So she's doing well. She is glad to be home. When I brought her home, I stayed with her for a little while, and she needed to go to the restroom, and so she used her walker and got out of the wheelchair and walked all the way to the restroom. When she got to the restroom, the door was too small, and so to get through the restroom, she had to go sideways with her walker, and she did very good with it. So that was encouraging. She made it all the way to the restroom, which was a longer walk than I would have thought that she would have ever attempted, but I guess because of her rehab, they're making her walk pretty good distances. So that was very encouraging. I thought that she'd have to use the wheelchair to get, down the hallway, which she didn't need. So she walked all the way to the restroom and then walked all the way back to her wheelchair. And when she sat down in the wheelchair, she said, "Mike, can you take my walker and put it over there?" I said, "No, Mom. Just take your walker and set it next to where you're at right now. And that way, when you want to, you just wheel your wheelchair back to this position and you can bring your walker back over." And she said that was a good idea. And so she saw the sense there. So I think she'll be fine. She was in a lot of pain last night when I talked to her. She'd overdone it. She'd been sitting up in her wheelchair and going through all her bills and everything, so kind of natural, for her. So the good news is that even though she's in a lot of pain, it's nothing like the pain she was in before. So she'll get over this. It'll heal. I know it will. She has rehab people who are supposed to be coming out today, and I thought about going out and meeting them, but I really don't know that that's necessary. They're supposed to come out 3 days a week, and it's going to be an hour. It's going to be an hour out there each time, just to get her into the shower and out, make sure she doesn't fall. So that's it on that. To give you a little update on the incident report, if Pam knows about it, I don't know who all knows that Mom fell at the rehab. Basically, somebody had, this is Trooper, he's a good dog. Say hello, Trooper. Okay, so, stop it. Okay, so somebody had mopped Mom's bathroom floor, and she went to the bathroom and slipped and fell. And so when I talked to them on Friday, Pam said, "Did you get an incident report, Mike?" And I said, "No, I didn't even think about it." So I asked them for one on Friday. The lady, Rhonda, who's the administrator, I think that's her title, she said, "There really is no report that I can give to you." I said, "That's kind of strange," but she said that everything's written into the chart. And I said, "Can I at least get a copy of what it says in the chart, or can you look at it and make sure that, that it shows that she slipped on a wet floor that you guys left?" And she said she'd go and look at it and call me back in a couple hours. Well, she didn't call me back in a couple hours, but to her credit, I called her again and she called me right back. And she basically told me that she reviewed the notes, and the notes indicated that there was a cone out there on the floor saying wet floor, and that they had told her verbally not to go to the restroom because the floor was wet. And I went, "Okay, that sounds really weird, because that's not what my mother says. Have you even talked to her?" And Rhonda said, "No, I haven't talked to your mother." I said, "I really recommend that you talk to my mother." And Rhonda said, "Well, the lady who wrote the report is actually here today, so I'll bring her in with me and we'll talk to your mother together, find out what the story is." So she didn't call me back or anything, which was part of the plan. I was going to talk to her on Monday, Rhonda, because on Monday she said that she could get me something in writing. It wouldn't be, the incident report or anything like that, but she would give me something in writing as far as what happened. So when I was picking up Mom on Saturday, she had indicated to me that that Rhonda had come in with this other lady, and this other lady was insistent that there was a cone, but Mom says there was not a cone, and nobody told her not to go to the restroom. Hey! Stop it. That's the dog barking its own tail. That wasn't anything. So anyways, Mom doesn't remember the cone, but the lady who wrote the report says that there was a cone. So when I was there, Mom said that this little girl actually was the first one to come in and actually help me up off the floor. And so she brought her into the room. I can't remember her name. I have it written down. But the little girl did not remember the yellow cone being there. I said, "Do you mind if I ask Rhonda to talk to you?" And she said no. And she mentioned another guy, JD, who was the first one to respond also to Mom falling, and that we could also ask him. So there's either two ways, the lady either was covering her own ass by putting this information into her report, or maybe somebody put that cone in the room before she came in to look and write her report. After Mom had fallen. I guess it could be something like that. So anyways, I'm going to talk to her on Monday, and if she says that her staff is saying that they did tell her not to go to the restroom and that there was a yellow cone, then I'll tell her to talk to this little girl and JD and get confirmation that they didn't see it. And I just want something in writing. So, long story. Hey. Okay, there goes the dogs. I have too many dogs, guys. I have 16 dogs at this point. Okay, that's the Mom update. The Mike update is everything's well. This is one of the puppies. This is little girl. Everything's well. I'm coming up on 2 years of sobriety. That'll be September 17th. I'm over 6 months of not smoking. January 20th is my stop date for not smoking. I'm very happy about not drinking, not so much about the not smoking. I sure do wish I could have a cigarette lots of the time. But, I don't want the consequences either. So, that's it on the Mike update. I have a air conditioning unit update to tell you about. Basically, here in Texas, it's been 105 degrees for 2 weeks now. Every day it's just terrible. In our house we can't get any lower than about 85-90 degrees. So to try to make a long story short, we had bought a new air conditioning unit a few years ago, and when they came out to look at replacing it, they said, well, you got a mismatched air conditioner out there. What you need is a Tran 4-ton unit, both inside and outside. And we went, okay, go ahead and put in the Tran. I know the name, the brand, and it seems to be good, and go ahead and do that. But when we put it in, it still didn't help the house any more than it had. There's just not enough air that blows through the ducts. So when we started getting these 100-degree days every day, my fan went out on the outside unit, so I had to call an air conditioning place out that I didn't even know. And hang on, that's my sister Pam. Pam, I'll call you back in just a second. So he came out to replace the fan, and Mary Ann mentioned to him that there wasn't enough cooling going on inside the house. And he basically said that the issue was that we needed, that the unit that was put in is made for a house. And I've learned all this recently, that we have a 4-ton Tran. And with a house, it has bigger air ducts, and you don't push as much air for a house because the air ducts being bigger. And that's what we put on, is a unit for a house. what we needed was what we had originally was a bigger blower on the outside, or a bigger unit on the outside of 5-ton, and a smaller unit on the inside of 4-ton, which you change out the innards of the blower from the 4-ton to the 5-ton, and that makes it match. And so that's what we should have done, and that's what he was suggesting that we basically did now for another $4,000. And so I didn't feel comfortable spending $4,000 since, you know, we just put in a new air conditioning unit several years ago, and now he's telling me that we put in the wrong thing, and I don't know anything about air conditioning units. So basically I got a reference from the hall, and this guy's name is Justin. He came out, and I showed him the estimate and showed him what we were looking at, and he looked at it and he said, you know, basically they're right that I can give you a slightly lower quote most likely to do the work, but in the long run, he said, you're not going to be happy with replacing the air conditioning unit because it's 105 degrees, and mobile homes are not well insulated. You will not get the house down to 60 degrees because of the installation of a mobile home. And so he basically suggested that we do more wall units. We have three window units right now, and he said just get another window unit, and that's probably your best option. So this is going to be wrapping it up. I'm already over 11 minutes, running up on 15 minutes again. But the window unit I bought is huge. It requires special electricity. Justin's going to come out today and wire it all up, and hopefully that's going to just blast all this cold air into the living room, get us down to the 60, 70 degrees that Marianne would love. That's a joke. Probably get it down to 80 degrees, which we'll be happy with. And we'll get that done. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to call my sister Pam up in Kansas City, who I promised to talk to at 9:30, and she's good about keeping appointments apparently. I'm not so much, only because I've recorded this video 3 times now. I love you all. I do hope to see you in September on my 2-year anniversary. Give Mary my love. I will see her in a couple months when I come up for my anniversary, and hope all's well with everybody up in Kansas City. Love you all. Take care. Bye-bye.